With the wind up in the 20s, the top end of the range, the action in the start box between Artemis and Azura was fast and furious. Both teams headed deep and right into the box, and after a few circling skirmishes, set up for the timed run to the line. Artemis had managed to take the windward position with Azura tucked in tight to leeward. The Swedish boat happy to live there after the full-speed start. By the first cross, Terry Hutchinson had driven Artemis into a slight lead. The Swedish boat held into the top mark, rounding 14 seconds ahead of the Italians. Now, could Azura attack downwind? The answer was no. Messy jibing cost the Italians dear, preventing Francesco Bruni from closing it up. Ahead, Artemis was sailing within themselves, opting for a conservative drop at the gate to protect their lead. Azura's takedown was simply a shambles, the kite flogging in the strong breeze as they sailed beyond the gate. Artemis were away, the point in the bag.
That was a really good job forward, guys.
Word off origin before the race had the British seeking a wide right start, and that's what they fought for and almost got against All for One. After an always tight tussle in the box, Ben Ainslie positioned origin windward to the right of Sebastian Coll on All for One, but not as wide as he'd have liked. The Franco-German boat was tight to leeward as the boats accelerated off the line at speed. Origin was able to live there, and on a long drag race on port made small, steady gains. All for One tactician John Cutler opted to continue until they had to call for water on the edge of the course, which consolidated Origin's gain. At the top mark, Ainslie's lead was out to 17 seconds, the result of classic keeping it close match racing tactics. And as Azura did in the first race, All for One surrendered their chance of launching an attack with some sloppy jibing. Origin's only real blemish was a poor second-run jibe, but their comfortable cushion allowed them plenty of time to recover and take the win. Mascalzoni Latino tactician Morgan Larson outlined a three-choice wish list for his start against Aleph: wide right, split tack or tight leeward. The fourth choice he didn't mention was Sir Gavin Brady to block Bertrand Passet outside the box, leave him trailing in the Italian boat's wake and totally dominate the pre-start. To really rub it in, Aleph was left floundering in a low-speed tack by the committee boat, while Brady started at pace and then tacked to head right and press home his advantage. It could have all been over, but in favouring the right, the Italians opened the door for Passet to head up the centre of the course, where they sailed into a very handy lift. By the top mark, the French were right back into it. After the Italian boat rounded ahead into a conservative bear-away set, Aleph opted to ring the changes and looked for the attacking advantage of a jibe set. It was the right move that went horribly wrong. Small tear in the Jenica, rapidly becoming an explosion. The sail in pieces, out of control. Aleph's challenge over, Mascalzoni Latino through to the semi-finals. First in the rankings, played last in race 4, Emirates Team New Zealand looking to lock out Synergy on the run to the start. But Karol Jablonski, helming the Russian boat, managed to stay clear and chased the Kiwis into the line. Dean Barker to leeward was first away, but Jablonski had speed and the power of the right, which would pay dividends up the beat. At the first cross, Synergy used starboard right of way to bounce the Kiwis back and then sat on top. The Russians led into the top mark 6 seconds ahead, Barker barrelling around to stay in touch and exert pressure. Both boats went for a conservative bear-away set, but the Kiwi crew work was slicker by far. As the Russians struggled to set their kite, Barker was able to overtake to leeward and assume control. Synergy tactician Rod Dawson began a prolonged pleading with the umpires for what he saw as the Kiwis failing to sail a proper course. The pleas fell on deaf ears with a succession of green flags. Emirates Team New Zealand went on to rebuff Synergy's fight back to join Mascalzoni Latino in the semi-finals.